Hi, this is Paul from finishYourSong.com, and I'm continuing with my look at some of the available plugins for reamping. And we started a couple of videos back by looking at the CLA guitars from Waves. Here we're looking at the JJP guitar from Waves. And the one thing to note straight away is that this has a very different philosophy. The CLA guitars was a question of serial processing. It was recreating the effects chain, if you like, that you would have had with a normal guitar. The JJP approach is parallel processing. You have your main amount of guitar, which comes in and it picks up its amp sound. And again, we've got some different sounds that we'll have a listen to. You can EQ, you can compress, and you can pan within the plugin. But then these other things you can punch in and out in parallel and bring in different amounts of these as you go along. So we'll have a look at that in a moment. First thing to note is that, like the CLA guitar, the JJP guitar comes in two variants: a mono to stereo for mono guitar parts, and a stereo to stereo where you've already got a stereo amplifier coming through. And the other thing to note is that down here we have a phase button for inverting the phase of the signal. With this, the first thing to do is to set the sensitivity. So we have a little LED, or make-believe LED here. So when we set the signal going, the first thing we do is adjust the sensitivity so that we're getting a healthy amount of signal without getting any red. So there we are. We're now getting a proper level of signal coming in. So again, we can adjust the highs and lows, EQ our signal as we go. But as you've probably gathered if you've watched the other videos, we're not looking for a clean, twangy type of sound. What we want is something with a bit of warmth to it. So let's have a listen to our amplifier options before we go any further. Now what you'll notice is that as I click through these were all moving. So each preset carries with it different settings to start you depending on what genre of music you're working in. Here we have chug, R&B, rock and clean. So let's take the rock sound and see what we can add to it. So as you can see, I'm playing with the sounds there and I'm not adding any distortion. And I think this reflects the different approaches that Chris Lord-Alge and JJP take to mixing. This is very much not about reamping, it's about processing a recorded sound by looking at these different factors. So let's explore. This is his rock guitar. So let's have a listen to that. So this plugin is not about reamping as such, in the sense of taking a clean sound and distorting it. What it's about is about adding something to an existing guitar sound. So What I've done here is I've loaded this guitar onto the distortion track, and we'll have a look see how we can affect that. The first thing to note is that we're getting good signals straight away. So we'll load that rock guitar preset back up. And I'll just pull down the fader because it's quite loud. And here we go. I'll just bypass that. That's what we recorded. And with just loading a preset and a bit of tweaking, this is what we've got. Let's pull that down a bit, try and match the levels so you get a better appreciation. So we've been able to make it thicker, soupier. I'll just add a bit of presence to that, see what that adds to it. I'm definitely feeling a bit more low end coming in there, a bit more thump, a bit more sense of movement. So this is an example of reamping where you've already got an amped sound. I wouldn't use this to provide a sound on a clean sound, but where you're taking an already recorded sound and you want to just add different values to it, this probably would be a good plugin to use. Okay, that's it for this one. And next time we'll have a look at something that isn't quite as designer, but is very, very useful and offers you far more options than any of the plugins I've looked at so far. And it's almost free. Until then, you take care of yourselves.